it appears that Diddy isn't going to go down alone. Tara, do you want to hear the names on this list?
And statistically, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that this many celebrities would have trans kids.
I'm Stephanie Keith.
And I am Tara Manjekovic. And we are unapologetically outspoken.
Hey, everyone, and happy Friday. So today we have a fun episode planned because we're going to dive into Hollyweird and the latest celebrity conspiracy theories that are going viral. And Tara, you know I love this shit, and I'm so excited when you are like, yeah, let's do a conspiracy episode. So let's just go with it. I have so many things I want to say. I tried to make it as concise as possible. Okay. So we already did the episode about Diddy possibly being like the Epstein of the music industry because, you know, the latest lawsuit against him claims he has all this video footage as blackmail against everyone from celebrities to politicians. And it appears that Diddy isn't going to go down alone. So there is this video that he posted, and I guess he has a young son because he's with like a toddler. And they're listing out his list of a bunch of celebrity names. He just starts listing off all these people. And then he alludes to them not answering his calls. And he says, quote, "They're so big, sometimes, you know, they get busy and they forget they committed to answering the phone." And then he says he's going live the following day and that there's going to be some big surprises. Now, I think this was just a warning to get people to like finally answer his calls. And they must have, because I didn't see a follow-up of him going live the following day. And this was like just a few days ago that I saw this video. Tara, do you want to hear the names on this list?
Yes.
It's okay. It's good. It's good. Here it goes. Drake, Oprah, J-Lo, A-Rod, Will Smith, Alicia Keys, Justin Bieber, Kevin Hart, Mark Wahlberg, Snoop, DJ Khaled, Swizz Beat, Kelly Rowland, Chris Brown, Issa Rae, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, Ciara, Danielle Monáe, Lizzo, Meg the Stallion, J Balvin, I don't know if I'm saying these right, Naomi Campbell, Jessica Alba, that one really surprised me. Rita Wilson, Gabrielle Union, Usher, Demi Lovato, Shaq, Tracy Ellis Ross, Rick Ross, Diplo. I know that's a popular person, but I don't know.
Diplo?
Okay. Diplo. You got it, Tara.
I know who that is.
I should, but I don't. Nicole Scherzinger, Cara Delevingne, Harlow, and then French Montana. So
okay. I recognize most of these names, so that's good. But like, not Mark Wahlberg.
I know.
I thought he was one of the good guys.
I refuse to believe it. Mark Wahlberg is a good guy. And, you know, all I can think is like he's been around a long, long time. And maybe Diddy has some dirt on him. Who knows? But I refuse to believe that he's a bad guy. And Jessica Alba, like, what? I mean, she's squeaky clean. But a lot of the names, though, are not that surprising. And one thing that I just thought of is that, what's that guy? He's been on like all these podcasts lately. Cat Williams. It has been in the industry forever. He was like on Joe Rogan and like a bunch of big podcasts where he called out like a lot of these people. So not that surprising, but Mark Wahlberg, yeah. What? No. But some of these names are names that we've seen on like the Epstein flight logs. So like Oprah, no surprise there, Naomi Campbell, and Rita Wilson. Now, this piqued my interest because Rita Wilson is Tom Hanks' wife. And when you look into Tom Hanks, it's very dark. And for anyone who does not know the Tom Hanks story, I'm sorry to be the one to disappoint you, but you've got to go down the rabbit hole because it's pretty crazy. So Tara, like, I don't even know if you're aware of this whole Tom
Mm-mm.
Hanks conspiracy. Oh my gosh.
No.
Okay. So this like crushed me because I've always been a Tom Hanks fan, like loved Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
There was a big conspiracy in 2020. There was an actor by the name of Isaac Cappy, and this is such a good rabbit hole to go down. Maybe we'll do a whole episode at some point on this, but he like went to social media and just started calling out the whole entire Hollywood pedophilia ring. And he said that Tom Hanks was like the worst of them, like the ringleader. And there was this video that leaked, and you can still find it. I know you can find it on TikTok, but it was this video of like Tom Hanks and these two little Asian girls. And it looked very nefarious. And it was connected to the whole like Pizzagate conspiracy. So at the time, Tom Hanks got canceled and people were flooding his social media posts with comments of like the pizza emoji, which for anyone that doesn't know that conspiracy, that's basically a symbol that like pedophiles use in order to like order children on the internet. They'll say like, I want a certain type of pizza. And like one type means boys, one type means girls. Disgusting. Well, anyhow, Isaac Cappy did his last video saying that they were coming for him and that he was not suicidal. And after that last post, he supposedly forced himself off of a bridge on Route 66 and was hit by a car and died. And what's crazy was right before he died, Tom Hanks posted a photo of a white glove on the ground that was captioned, quote, historic Route 66 roadkill, end quote. And then the day that Isaac Cappy dies, Tom Hanks posts a photo of a red handkerchief, which is a theme among people who die by suicide, but it really doesn't seem like it was a suicide. That's just the official story. And so the theory is that when the cabal kills someone, they tie a red handkerchief on the doorknob as a sign. And like, Tara, do you remember that from the Fall of Cabal series where like all these supposed suicides, there was like a handkerchief that they used to hang themselves from like a doorknob, and that's apparently like the cabal's sign that like, you know, everybody watch out because this is what we do. And so just a disclaimer before we go any further, this is all just a crazy conspiracy theory. We're not alleging that any of it is true. It's just an interesting story to tell. So don't come for us. This is just a fun conspiracy, okay?
I honestly love how excited you get about doing these conspiracy theory episodes because, especially when it comes to celebrities, I'm usually so clueless, right? But I will say the Fall of the Cabal series totally opened my eyes to so much shit. And yes, even though it is allegedly, in air quotes, a conspiracy theory, like Stephanie just said, if you guys want to go down the rabbit hole of like how insane and sick and twisted and disturbing this world of the celebrities and elites is, y'all need to go watch Fall of the Cabal. Like, even if you don't believe in conspiracy theories, the history to the Fall of the Cabal lays out like for the last, I don't know what, how Middle Ages,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
about how the
Centuries.
cabal has been controlling the world. And it's fascinating, but also incredibly scary. And Stephanie, like, why is it always the seemingly nice guys, like good old Tom Hanks, who end up being like the biggest pervs, allegedly?
Oh, I know. I know. It's crazy. And I do remember like um Dahmer, for example, you know, like he was very um he had like that thing about him where people like trusted him. He was a little bit attractive. And that's what they say about a lot of these people that are like the real sick ones. You would never know because they
The
just seem so
predators.
innocent. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's crazy. Like Tom Hanks, it's like who would ever, you know, think. So that's just one story from one person on this Diddy Epstein list. Another name from the Diddy list was Justin Bieber. And we did talk about him on the episode that we did about how like Diddy and Usher took him under their wing when he was a young boy. Well, so much has come out since that episode. And first of all, right when the Diddy lawsuit was filed, but like before it was made public, before we all knew about it, Stephen Baldwin took to social media, passing along a message from their pastor to pray for his daughter, Hailey Bieber, and her husband, Justin Bieber. And like at the time, everyone just thought, okay, well, they must be getting a divorce or something. But once the Diddy allegations were made public, now everyone's saying, well, maybe that was about Justin like battling the trauma that he faced as a child in this abusive industry. And there's all these rumors that he could be the John Doe described in the lawsuit that's working with the FBI. And one of the videos circulating is him and Diddy meeting up, and Diddy is literally patting him down like he's looking for wires under his shirt. And he's whispering in Justin's ear, like as he's patting him down, and Justin is like visibly uncomfortable. So, like, that's not normal behavior, like clearly he doesn't trust Justin Bieber. So very strange. But I was going to play a new Justin Bieber song that's going around all over social media. Did I just say that weird? Social media.
Media?
I think I said
Social
media.
media.
What's wrong with me today? But the song is about Diddy's parties. The thing is, like, some people are saying it's AI because, like, there's no way that Justin Bieber would be so public with what happened to him. But I mean, if this is AI, like that is concerning because it sounds just like him and it's also very catchy. Like it sounds like a hit, like a top hit. So I don't know, but I'm going to play it anyways. You guys can decide for yourself. But this is what's going around social media.
But it cost me way more than my soul. I wasn't where I was looking to say.
Okay, Tara's saying you can't really hear it through the speaker. Darn, because I have like
It
songs
was,
I want to
yeah,
play.
it was
Okay,
like
well, I'll
going
just
in
tell
and
you what the
out.
lyrics say, okay? So it says, lost myself at a Diddy party. Um, didn't know that's the way it goes. Was in it for a new Ferrari. And then shoot, then what does it say? Lost way more than my soul or something like that. And then it's saying like how he signed a contract so that this person never has to pay the price or whatever. And then it also says like never walking normal again. Put your
Oh.
2 cents together and figure out what that means. So everyone's like, there's no way like that's a real song. And maybe it is just AI, but either way, like when you go back and you look at these old videos that Diddy himself posted of him with this young boy, Justin Bieber, you know that this poor kid was completely taken advantage of. Now, speaking of songs, Justin Timberlake just released a new music video. And just like Taylor Swift, The Weeknd, Sam Smith, and every other huge performer right now, the video is filled with all this satanic imagery. And I just don't get it. It's like, it's so obvious and so in our face. And I don't know how anyone can deny at this point that there is a group of elites that are into satanic stuff. I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not religious, like at least not in the sense of believing in a particular organized religion at this point in my life. But I can't help but think that this is all part of that agenda to lure young people away from religious-based faith and family values. And maybe I'm wrong, but I swear when I was growing up, there was really only satanic imagery in music like heavy metal or the goth scene. And that was like par for the course because those were like the misfit music genres. And I was all into the goth and punk scene for many years. So, like, I'm not talking shit. I was in it. I was a total misfit, weirdo teenager, and I completely own that. But I just don't remember this kind of imagery in any mainstream music and not even in videos. And like, I haven't had cable for the past 10 years, and I don't spend much time on social media. I don't follow a lot of celebrity stuff. I haven't been to a concert in forever. So most of the time, I have no clue what's going on in the music industry, except when you tell me stuff, and then I look up stuff for these episodes. But I will say, when I first moved overseas, and I lived in a hotel for a month, and there was like maybe 10 TV channels, and one of them was a European version of MTV. I think it was German MTV. But I was honestly a little shocked because most of the videos that were on were just very dark imagery. It was either that like depressing dystopian future, or they had these, weird AI stuff or the satanic cult like vibes. And I just don't remember it being like that when I was growing up at all.
Yeah. Well, and so like my husband still to this day, he's super into like death metal. My
Mhm.
brother was too. I grew up around it. And it was never like this though. Like when you take someone like a Taylor Swift that is known for being a Christian, she was originally a
Right.
country singer, and now she's doing like rituals at her concerts, and her music videos are literally like her dressed like Moloch, which another character from the Fall of Cabal that's like super tied with this whole conspiracy of the Illuminati. It's interesting. I mean, they're using like specific symbols and stuff that just tie like too perfectly to all of these conspiracies. And so it's like, are they messing with us? Are they doing it just because it's getting a lot of like people paying attention to it? Or are they really all, worshiping this like Moloch character? And it's interesting because the moment they go huge, like these big mega stars, that's when they all switch the satanic stuff. So it makes you wonder, like, did
Yeah.
they sacrifice something or like turn to this weird ritual in order to become famous, and then all of a sudden they blow up? So it's just strange to me because we see it left and right, and I don't like the subliminal messaging behind it, especially when like their audience is mostly kids. So another interesting thing is Beyonce came out with a new country album, which is strange. And it's sparking a lot of rumors. And I've never really been into country music, but I have to say, like, her album sounds really good. I was really surprised. But one of the songs has started a major conspiracy. So I'm gonna try playing the clip, and then Tara, you just let me know if you can't really hear the
Okay.
lyrics, because that's what I want everyone to pay attention to.
Body laid out on these filthy floors. Your blood stains on my custom couture. Bathroom attendant let me right in, but you was a big fan. I really tried to stay cool, but your arrogance disturbed my solitude. Now I'm ripped to dress and you're all black and blue. Look what you made me do. They keep saying that ain't nothing like my father, but I'm the furthest thing from quiet boys and altars. If you cross me, I'm just like my father. I am colder than Titanic water. Help me, Lord.
Did you hear the lyrics?
Yeah, I could hear it.
Okay. So it's, body laying on the floor, your blood's on my custom couture. The bathroom attendant let her in, blah, 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 right? And the song is called Daughter. So just keep that in mind as I go into all of this, okay? So clearly the song lyrics is about murdering a woman and leaving her in the bathroom. Well, thanks to TikTok, there are all these mega fans that recalled the rumors that were around back in 2011 that Beyonce faked her first pregnancy with her daughter, Blue Ivy. And the reason all these rumors were going around was because she was on an Australian talk show when she was like super pregnant and had this big baby belly. Well, when she bent over, the baby belly like collapsed. And so everyone's like, okay, she must have been wearing like a fake belly under her dress. And so people were like, well, maybe she just used a surrogate, which is pretty common in Hollywood. Well, the other thing was like she kept mixing up her due date. Like she would publicly state it was like one day and then it was a different day. And then she was 8 months pregnant and then she was 9 months pregnant. And like it just never really made sense. So there was all of that. And apparently, this was very public. I didn't know this though until this conspiracy, but Jay-Z had a longtime mistress named Kathy White. Well, Kathy White was pregnant At the same time, Beyonce was pregnant in 2011, but she died right before the baby was born. So the official, cause of death was an aneurysm that she had in her apartment alone. And for a long time, people suspected that Jay-Z killed his pregnant mistress. But now that this song comes out titled Daughter, people think that perhaps Beyonce was the one that killed Kathy and that Blue Ivy is actually Kathy White and Jay-Z's daughter and that Beyonce was never pregnant. And when you look at side-by-side photos of Blue Ivy and Kathy White versus Blue Ivy and Beyonce, she looks very similar to Kathy White, but not at all like Beyonce. And why would Beyonce put lyrics like that in a song where like you're laying out like exactly how you killed someone and it just happens to completely correlate with what happened in real life with your husband's mistress, you know? And so the long running theory with the Illuminati is that they believe in what's called karmic retribution, which means that as long as you say out loud what you did, you won't suffer the consequences. And like the other big theory of the Illuminati is that everyone must make a big sacrifice, like killing someone, when you join. And so Kanye, he's publicly stated that he sacrificed his own mother, and that's the real reason she died. Other celebrities have come out, made similar claims. But another way to make a sacrifice is with your children and making them like trans as sort of a public humiliation thing. So this is now getting into a different conspiracy, but it's like, was Kathy White Beyonce's sacrifice? Maybe. Who knows? But isn't it strange, Tara, that like this song is pretty
A lot of real life coincidences in
Yep.
in
And
air
you know what we
quotes.
say about coincidences.
Yep.
So back to like the sacrifice thing, the public humiliation thing. I think that this was in the fall of Cabal, if I'm remembering correctly, when they were talking about all of these elites who are women, or we know them as women, but they were actually born as men. And it's like this sacrificial public humiliation thing because you're literally like sacrificing your identity and becoming something else. And so they were saying like that celebrities could do this to their children as like a sacrifice. So of course, this is all just, fun conspiracy, who knows. But I do think it's weird how many celebrities have trans kids. Like, have you noticed this? It's insane. It's statistically impossible. And it makes you wonder, like, are they using their kids as props to gain more publicity? Or is it some type of a sacrifice? And I think the first time that I could remember where I think a celebrity really forced this on their kid was with Angelina Jolie, where her daughter, Shiloh, starting at age 2, she like started dressing her like a boy and she like announced that Shiloh wants to be a boy at age 2. Like you can't even talk yet, And now that Shiloh is grown up, she dresses like a normal girl. And all I can think is like, thank God she didn't have gender affirming surgery because it looks like she grew out of it. She wants to be a girl after all. And then you have Charlize Theron, who adopted 2 boys from Africa, but dresses them as girls. And she's doing the same thing where she's saying she knew that at just 3 years old, this boy was a girl, a 3-year-old. Like what? This is like abuse. And now J-Lo's daughter, she just announced like her daughter is a they, them. And then you have like Megan Fox that has 3 boys and all 3 of them dress like girls. And when you start looking, there's so many instances of this in Hollywood. Like, what the fuck, Tara? What is going on?
Yeah, this again, something I really did not pay attention to until we talked about doing this episode. And so I looked it up, and you're right. Like, there are tons of celebrities who have trans kids. And you can go back to like the old school ones that, came out of trans a few years before it became trendy. And yes, I am using the word trendy because I honestly think that's what's happening with young people seeking attention, whether that's like to fit in at school with a fucked up agenda going on in our classrooms or trying to get attention from their parents or whatever. But I think that is also what's happening is like adults needing attention and needing the limelight and like putting it on their kids. So like you have old school celebs like Cher, remember her kid
Yeah.
Chaz came out, but that was many years ago.
Mhm.
And then like Annette Bening and Warren Beatty have a son who reportedly came out as trans when he was 14 years old. But that was back in 2012. The singer Sade has a son that came out trans in 2016. And then you have Sex and the City star Cynthia Nixon's son came out trans in 2018. And then I like start finding just this ridiculous list. Sigourney Weaver has a non-binary child. And then you have all these recent celebrities who suddenly have trans kids. And I think it's like a fucking epidemic with the Housewives network because Housewives of OC, two of the stars, Alexis Molino, has a 15-year-old trans kid. Heather Dubrow has 4 children, and apparently 3 of the 4 are gender confused. 2 of them are identifying as non-binary, and then the youngest came out as trans at 12 years old last year. Then you have Housewife of New York, Cindy Barshop. Her son came out as trans in 2019. And then I have no idea how old the kid is, but from the pictures that I saw online, like at the time, he looked to be maybe 10 years old, maybe, I don't know. Then you have Gabrielle Union from Housewives of Beverly Hills. Her kid apparently came out trans at 12 years old back in 2020. And then you have all these other celebrities. Busy Phillips has a they them that doesn't look a day over 10. R. Kelly's kid comes out as trans at 13. Dean McDermott and Tori Spelling apparently have a 15-year-old kid who identifies as trans and then a gay son. Marlon Wayans has a trans son. And you know what? Like, if these kids grow up and decide they truly want to be different genders as adults, like we've talked about this before, I don't give a fuck. Live and let live. Enjoy your life. But except with very rare exceptions, I don't believe most of these kids are trans. I think the majority are either gay, bisexual, or just confused and exploring their options. Because, like you said, at 3 years old, you're not fucking trans. I'm sorry. At 10 years old, at 15 years old, most kids still don't know who the fuck they are. And I say this from experience because I think we talked about this a long time ago on a podcast. I experimented with a lot of shit when I was younger. Thank God my parents didn't take me to the doctor to have my breasts cut off when I was 14 and was, dressing like a boy and thought they were too big. And thank God they didn't encourage me to change my gender when I was experimenting with my sexuality as a teenager because I didn't know who the fuck I was at that age. I didn't even know who I was in my early 20s. And I feel like this situation right now is like so far beyond being accepting and like allowing young people to find themselves because this is parents who are encouraging and grooming their kids to be fucking confused. And you think you're cool and progressive and woke, but you're fucking up your kids for life. And like you said, statistically, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that this many celebrities would have trans kids. And again, I don't believe most of them are actually trans. They are confused youth who are even more fucked up because of their parents' celebrity lifestyles and like weird cultish shit that they're exposed to, and they're looking for attention. And if this really is all part of some kind of sacrificial plot by the cabal, which again is alleged, and I have no fucking idea what's really going on, but if there is any remote truth to this, it just goes to show you how people will sell their souls for status, money, and fame, like even at the expense of their children, which is just demented and gross. But, and on top of that, we've talked about this before too. All this does is put the legitimate LGBTQ, I won't even XYZ it, just the legitimate LGBTQ community puts them in a bad light with this focus on kids and the trans agenda.
And isn't it like the opposite of acceptance? Because if you were accepting your child, you would accept them as they are. But instead,
Yes.
you're saying, oh no, you have to change everything about you. You have to change not just your body, but your whole identity, your name, everything. That is like the opposite of acceptance. And I don't know why more people aren't realizing that.
Well, I guess when we have a, president who can't even stop himself from sniffing little kids on camera in public and like making creepy pedo comments, and he approves an election campaign where the image on his TikTok account is literally the satanic dark Brandon devil eyes photo of himself. Like, who knows what kind of creepy shit these elites are involved in? But it's obvious they want to make this very dark and evil behavior just seem totally acceptable and mainstream. And what better way to do that than having celebrities promote this agenda, because that's what people pay attention to, especially young kids. They follow these celebrities and their children.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of Biden, um, this just happened where a woman in Florida is sentenced to a month in prison for selling Ashley Biden's diary,
Oh,
Biden's
I saw
daughter.
that. I saw
And so, yeah, it's like the same thing where like Hunter tried suing about the laptop. It's like, okay, so if she's going to jail for this, then I guess it is your diary, which
Yeah.
means the content in there, maybe we should take a closer look at, because you were talking about your father potentially molesting you and taking inappropriate showers with you. So which is it? Like, is it your diary, and is this true or is it not? You know what I mean? So
Yep.
it's like, but of course the media is not covering it, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah,
They're in on this whole agenda.
yeah. Well, and I think that's why, um, wasn't it the Department of Homeland Security or something that raided Diddy's home? Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't just happen. Like, clearly they're probably worried because there's some people at the tippy top that were on some of that video footage he has, and they went in there
Yeah.
to get it, and Diddy's going to be the fall guy. Like, that's the thing. It's so big. It's so big, and everyone is involved. Everyone from politicians to celebrities to athletes, like they're all in on it. And so how do you win against that? How do you beat that? I think by exposing it and just not letting the media get away with not talking about it. If they're not going to talk about it, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And more people are waking up to it, and it's sick. And it's like, I think that this is the fall of the cabal. Like, it's the fall of
Yeah.
the music industry, the fall of Hollywood. Like, people aren't tuning in like they used to. And yeah, we'll see where it goes. But there's no denying there's some weird shit going on in Hollywood.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening to my crazy conspiracy theories. I really enjoy talking about them. And I hope everyone has a good weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday. Thanks for tuning in. If you're sick of all the crazy shit going on in our country and you want to express your support and patriotism for the show, head on over to our Etsy store at UO Patriot Chicks and check out our new stickers. The link can also be found on our website. If you love the show and you want exclusive episodes, support the podcast and join the conversation by becoming a member of our Patreon community. We'll be posting weekly member-only podcast episodes and content that isn't available on the weekly podcast. Every Patreon member will also get a free Unapologetically Outspoken sticker and updates about our new sticker release before they're made public. And be sure to follow us on TikTok at Unapologetically Outspoken. And if you haven't done so already, please rate and review the podcast. The more you support us, the more people we can reach, so help us spread the word.